Should you be focused on paying off debt or buying assets? Or better yet, when should you focus on paying off debt? Let's hear from the three amigos. We have three different ideas about this. Let me know which one you agree with. Thanks, and bye-bye. Yes, so round one actually came, I wasn't sure if it was from my group or the FI group. It might have been the FI group, basically saying, when do you start paying off debt? So we'll tee up the question, but then we'll answer it in our own unique ways. I believe this individual was in their, let's say 60, right? So they're past 50. They're like, hey, should I keep growing or should I be focused on debt? Actually, you know what? I think they were 55 because they said they'd work another 10 years. Should I keep growing, pay off debt, all of that stuff? So what do you guys think about paying off debt? Are you like Dave Ramsey? You just buy one and then you focus on paying it off, then you buy another one and then pay it off, and you have like two or three? Or what are you guys thinking? So we'll go to Dion first.
So there's different versions of when to focus on paying off debt or investing. And for me, when I'm starting out and I don't have that portfolio yet and I'm looking at the first couple of rentals, I took all debt over 6% and focused on paying that off and getting rid of any kind of credit card debt or anything that had a high interest rate.
So was that before you had one? That was like at step zero?
That was before. It was during the 2 years where I was saving up the down payment for the first one. I was focusing on anything with a high interest rate. Get rid of it.
And you deemed high at 6%.
I did. And my math might have been off. I was thinking I can get about a 10% return on an investment property, which I hadn't done yet, but that was my goal.
Sure.
And I thought after taxes that a guaranteed 6% return on something that I pay off myself was just as good as investing. Okay.
And so when this was what, like 2010, 12, something like that?
Yep, pretty much 2010 to 12.
Okay. Did you have any debt below 6%?
I had a bunch below 6%.
Oh, really? All right.
This was all the debt I didn't know that existed until
it was a gift. It was a gift.
I was calling. There was one that was a dentist's office that was literally at 0%, but they wanted their $7,000 no matter what. They wouldn't budge.
Okay.
There was this is fun to mention. Apparently, we rented an apartment that I didn't know about.
Oh, that's good.
And we owed them some money
for 2 years. Wow.
So
not a good.
They wouldn't budge either. But all the credit card companies, they took like a 20 to 30% amount of the total debt. Okay. And most of them adjusted the rate. Okay. Some of the rates were 19%. They dropped them to, I think they were like 8. So they were still the ones I focused on.
Okay. All right. Sorry you had to go through that, but that's, part of the story. So, all right. So you got rid of everything above 6. You still had some below that. And then, so once the 7, 8, 9s are gone, then you bought an investment property?
Then I got a house hack.
Okay. Got it.
And added to my savings rate.
Got it. Okay. All right. How about you, Matt? What was going on in your world?
So I had a decent job. I was living at home because I was I was actually living at a buddy of mine's place. I was paying $250 a month.
Yeah. You were at your first house hack. You were the house hack. I
was 2021. So I was living with a friend. And then it was really just about saving up the down payment. And so I didn't really have a lot of debt.
Right.
Because I was so young.
Well, let's fast forward to today. Fast forward to today. We'll go back to you, Matt.
Yeah.
So the last year, have you been adding debt or paying off debt?
Adding. Yeah.
Right. And not only have you been adding
7 figures at a time.
Not only, but this is important, right? Not only did you add new units, which came with new debt, you went back to old units and added debt there. Right. Gimme, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because you were clearly in the growth mode.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And you're close to financially free. You in theory, you could do it today.
Yeah, I could have done it a few years ago, but today, for sure.
I think still adding.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the day when I'm, 65, whatever it is, 60, 65. And I can literally just hand my son a bill for like $10 million and say, now the debt's yours, son. Here you go.
Good luck. Dad's gone. Dad's going to Europe.
Yeah. P.S. No, that's not all you're going to owe. I'm going to still finance the rest.
That's right. I expect my check.
But yeah, this exercise this year was, so I think people are starting to see the writing on the walls, right? And so you and I acted a year ago, and we started moving everything.
Yeah.
We were like, we know where this number fits in the history of time of lending. We know that this is ridiculous. These are all-time lows.
Mhm.
It is time to move, secure debt, secure long-term debt at a fixed rate.
Yeah.
And so everything that you and I did was
on purpose,
was move everything into fixed rate debt as much as we possibly could, or prep a property so we could move it to fixed rate debt. And also in certain circumstances, sell properties because the market has never been this strong.
Exactly.
So all of those things occurred, but all of that was on purpose. And we, thankfully, yesterday, we were just approved on the final 9 non-commercial properties I own getting moved to fixed rate debt. And we got 30-year fixed 4% debt.
Get that rate lock.
We're rate locked. We're rate locked, baby.
There you go.
We're rate locked. So that's 9 buildings.
That's awesome.
9 more.
Cash out or just rate and term?
Oh, cash out.
Oh, of course.
Back that truck up.
What am I thinking?
Yeah, back that truck
So
up.
again, once again, adding debt and adding units.
Absolutely.
So you can go shopping. How about you, Dion? Have you been adding debt? I know you had something paid off.
So there are 3 phases to it.
Yep.
In the beginning, do you pay off debt or invest? In your growth phase, you're adding debt. And then at some point, age becomes a factor and people do that. You know, I'm 80, I'm going to sell everything off and not create any more debt. I'm in the growth phase, but I do it differently than you guys do. I'm still in the 10 mortgages or less in my own name. And when I first started investing, lenders would let you go up to 4 mortgages and then you had to go commercial. So I got to 4, focused and paid 1 off. And then I was going to do the rinse and repeat.
Yep,
then rates dropped and it didn't make sense to do that. So it doesn't make sense to do that now. So now I'm going up to 10 mortgages. I have 6 and I'll be adding some more. But the question will come up when I get to 10, depending on where rates are.
Exactly.
If they're above 5 or 6%, I might just pay them off and rinse and repeat.
Okay.
If they're still low, 3 or 4, however many years it takes me to get to 10 mortgages, then I might look at commercial, but look for 30-year fixed rate commercial.
Yeah.
So where rates are will depend on that and my age. I'm not sure at what point, because this was the question, I think, in the group. As you are aging yourself, when do you stop adding? And I don't know that that's going to happen because of the tax benefits of always be adding units, because you get to so much new depreciation and new write-offs with the purchase. So there might come a time where I back off more with property management.
Yeah.
And be less involved in the day-to-day.
That's a lovely time. Let me just tell you that right now. That doesn't suck.
No, it doesn't. And last night when I went to swap out a faucet and the water thing broke in the wall, I was thinking, man, I should have a property manager to deal with this now.
So let me round out kind of my story. So the story starts in the beginning, similar to Matt. I didn't have a lot of debt because, again, my real estate journey doesn't start till 30. So I paid off, I had student loans, but I spent, I think it was about 5 years, just everything I got. I had 2 jobs to pay off my student loans, right? I had my day job to feed my family, and I worked a second job solely to pay off my student debt because I didn't want to carry that going forward. It was a big number. So that's where that went. Start my journey at 30, no real debt to speak of other than a house. And then, so I was in growth mode, kind of like you said, right? It's actually in my book, One Rental at a Time, right? It was in growth mode. In the beginning, it was 80%, then 90-10s, then cash out refis, then 31s. I get to be 45. So 15 years in, I suddenly retire when I didn't plan to. I actually spent, I don't know, probably 6, it might've been 9 months, maybe 12, purposely paying off about a dozen houses. Cause this was like 4 years ago, right before this last run up. I just remember getting done, starting to check myself. And as I'm writing the book, remembering the '08 crash, I'm like, that kind of hurt a lot of people. So I purposely created what I called my oh shit pile. And I'm sorry to swear, but that's what I called it. So I had 12 houses, I think might've been 13 free and clear on purpose. That was like tucked to the side. It's like, the world ends. Nobody can touch these 12 and I could probably live okay, right? I wouldn't have to go back to work if I just had those 12. Then we go through this kind of run up, then rates go down to nothing. I refi a bunch of apartments. I sell some apartments. I add more residential. I refi a bunch of stuff. Then I look at the 12 going, that's a lot of equity over there. Can I really go get equity at 3.99?
That was dead money.
That was dead money.
That was dead money. It was doing nothing for you.
It was dead money. So I went and I got, I think 7 of them now are laddered up to, and it's not even that bad. I only went to 50% LTV because I gave me the best rates. I didn't need the extra 10. So yeah, that's kind of what I did. And now I'm going to go shopping. If I don't find anything in 2 or 3 years, I will just cut a check and pay those off again. So it's not like I'm going to go buy a stupid boat or anything like that. It's all real estate related. But yeah, I think in general, you have a growth mode, and I don't know that that's age dependent. I think when you retire, I generally recommend, or again, I would say you might want to take a few assets and create that oh shit pile. I think that's wise advice because you just never know. Worst case, it's an ATM if you ever need it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Even if it's not an oh shit pile, but hey, you need $100,000 all of a sudden, the easiest thing to do is go to a house that's free and clear and go get that money. So that's probably something I'd think about. But yeah, if you had 10 years left to go and you only had 4, it would be a mistake to pay off debt, especially if the debt's at 4%, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to instantly put you in a box where you're also paying more taxes.
Yeah, and you're going to miss out on growth or opportunities, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is you look at it and it's like, I feel like the safe number for me, based on all the math that I've done in my portfolio, is 70% loan to value.
Yeah.
So we are really about 70% loan to value. And that's what we're going to do in this next 9 that we're refinancing that we got approved on yesterday.
Yeah.
Is we're going to do 9 of those. We're going to refi those. My expectation is it will create another 7-figure plus liquidity event.
Nice.
And then I've got, some money for a rainy day or a rainy economy.
A rainy Lamborghini.
Yeah.
The Lamborghini house is coming.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you guys know it's coming. It's in the works now. It's coming.
So it doesn't make sense to pay off debt where the interest rate is at or below inflation.
No, don't ever do that.
Right. So that's the other thing to kind of add to that question of when do you want to pay off this debt? If you have 30-year fixed rate debt that's at 3 or 4%, I don't know that it ever makes sense to pay that off, to focus on it and pay it off.
No, I mean, because even if the Fed gets back to their 2.5, and that's why I spent the last 9 months getting all my debt at about 4%, all of it. I'm like, I'm good to go. Go ahead, crash real estate crash. I'm good, right?
Yeah.
It's just, that's the reason I like the Three Amigos is we're all doing this every day. We're not just talking nonsense in our mom's basement or looking at graphs. We're not just talking about stimulus or stocks or stuff. This is what we do every day, right? We look at our market, we put deals together. And
do you know how boring it is to have all 3 of my markets right now have 4 multi-units available?
Does it take you like 7-8 seconds to look at them and just?
I'm like,
nope, still there. Nothing changed.
Like literally the only thing that's in it for me is I'm watching the ticker count up on the days on market.
Yeah, well, that's
the DOMs. That's
how the real estate slowdown starts, right? Listing age, days on market.
Well, and these have just been there for like forever. And one agent who's a dominant agent in this area for multifamily stuff, it's because he knows how to perfectly price them, where it's literally like you have to be doing your numbers and to get into one of his properties because you're like, it's a little. It's like his deals like are average deals.
Yeah,
he's never sold anything that wasn't an average deal.
Well, that's kind of his job, right? That's
exactly
he represents the seller, so good for him. So I guess we'll close this conversation with one question. Dion, we'll go to you first. When do you pay off debt?
When for me, it's an interest rate much higher than inflation, so 6% or higher.
Okay.
And I think really that's it. Okay. If the tenants are going to pay off the debt, to me, it never makes sense to pay extra. So I think I'm deciding that when I get to 10, I'm probably going to be looking for 30-year fixed rate commercial.
There you go. I think that's wise. How about you, Matt? When do you pay off a couple at least? Let's ask that question. Do you ever pay off 3 or 4 and just go, no, just
nope.
No. Okay.
Nope. You know why? Because I want the bank as my partner in those.
Very
it's
good.
that simple. It's
I like
it. It's also a hedge. It's if somebody wants to try and sue my pants off, I've got insurance, but I've also got the bank who's a majority owner of my properties.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very, very good point.